Hi, welcome to Changster's video on solving multi-step equations. In this video, we're going to learn to solve more complicated or complex equations. This might involve combining like terms. So if you remember combining like terms where you have different terms with the same variables on either side of the equation. So for example, we have 3x plus x. To combine them, you get 4x. We might also need to apply the distributive property. If you remember what that is, so we have, for example, maybe 2 and then 6 plus y. And then you apply the distributive property. It's like a small rainbow and big rainbow. You get 12. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 2 times y is 2y. So this is applying the distributive property. So now let's look at a few examples. In example 1, we have 5y plus 3 is equals to 2y minus 21. Now, we have the variables on both sides. So we need to make sure that we have the variables only on one side, isolating the variable. So you can think about getting rid of the 5y from the left-hand side or the 2y from the right-hand side. So I find it easier when we subtract the 2y so that I don't end up with a negative coefficient for my y. So my left-hand side, I end up with 3y plus 3 is equals to negative 21. And now this becomes a two-step equation that we were solving in our previous lesson. So you now first subtract 3 from both sides to get rid of the plus 3. So you end up with 3y is equals to negative 21 minus 3 would be negative 24. And now I divide both sides by 3. I get y is equals to negative 8. And you can always check your answer to see whether it is correct. In example 2, we will now have to apply the distributive property. So small rainbow, big rainbow, small rainbow, big rainbow. So 3 times m, you end up with 3m minus 6. And then 5 times 6, you get 30 minus 10m. Now we have variables on both sides again. So you can think about, is it easier to subtract 3m from the left-hand side or add m to the right-hand side to get rid of the variable? So I will add 10m to both sides. So I'll end up with 13m minus 6 equals to 30. We end up with a two-step equation again, so I add 6 to both sides. So 13m is equals to 36, and I divide both sides by 13. So I think this is just it is. So m is equals to 36 over 13 as the answer. I don't think we can simplify that further. In example 3, we have 2y divided by 3 plus 5y divided by 2 is equals to 3. Now, we want to combine the two variables on the left-hand side. So we're going to apply the lowest common denominator method. So this is what I call method 1. So in method 1, I will multiply 2 to both the denominator and numerator of 2y over 3 and multiply by 3 to 5y over 2. Now, we know that the lowest common denominator of 3 and 2 will be 6. So we end up with 4y over 6 plus 15y over 6 is equals to 3. Now I can combine these two terms on the left-hand side. I end up with 19y over 6 is equals to 3. And now I can apply one step to solve for y, or I can apply a two-step. So one of the methods that we can use here is to multiply by the reciprocal of 19 over 6, which is 6 over 19 to both sides. And from here, you can see that the fraction will simplify to get just to give you y. So y is equals to 18 over 19. This is method 1. Now I'm going to show you method 2. So this is method 2. So method 1 is just combining fractions, right? Okay, so method 2 is, I'm going to rewrite the equation. 2y over 3 plus 5y over 2 is equals to 3. Now for method 2, I will multiply the whole equation by the lowest common denominator. In this case, we know it's 6, so we're going to multiply by 6 to both sides. So you can see that when I multiply 6 times 2y over 3, I will end up with, as you can see, 6 times 2y over 3 plus 6 times 5y over 2 equals to 6 times 3. Don't forget to multiply 6 to the right-hand side also. As you can see here, we conveniently get 6 divided by 3, you get a 2 here. 6 divided by 2, you get a 3 here. You have conveniently gotten rid of all the fractions. So you get 2 times 2y is 4y, 3 times 5y is 15y, and you get 18 on the right-hand side. Now, you can combine 4y with 15y to give you 19y. And this is equals to 18, and divide both sides by 19. So y is equals to 18 over 19. Now, you can see method 2 helps you to get rid of fraction right away. So this is the multiplying by the lowest common denominator method, and it is a lot easier to work with compared to method 1. So you have 2 different ways of solving equations involving fractions. Now, are you ready for a more complicated example? So let's look at example 4. We have 3x plus 1 over 5 plus 2 times x minus 1 over 3 equals to 5 over 6. Again, this is the fraction. I want to get rid of the fraction by multiplying by the lowest common denominator. So one way we can look at it is, let's look at the lowest common multiple of 5, 3, and 6. So we know that 3 and 6 are divisible by 3. So again, I have 5. I'm using the ladder method. 1 and 2. And then I divide by 5 again to give you 1. And I divide by 2 again to give me 1, 1, 1. So the LCM of 5, 3, and 6 will be equals to 3 times 5 times 2, which is equals to 30. Now, to get rid of the fraction in the denominator, which is 5, 3, and 6, I will multiply everything by the LCM, or the lowest common denominator, which is 30. Okay, so you can see that left-hand side, you could end up with, when you have 30 times 3x plus 1 over 5, and then you end up plus 30, 2 times x minus 1 over 3 is equals to 5 over 6 times 30. So you can see that on the left, the first term on the left-hand side, 30 divided by 5 will give you a 6. And on the second term, 30 divided by 3 gives you a 10. And 30 divided by 6 will give you a 5. So I'm going to just... So the left-hand side would be 18 times x plus 1 plus 20, because it takes 6 times 3, and you get 10 times 2 is 20, x minus 1 equals to 5 times 5 here, so it's 25. And now I need to apply the distributive property. Okay, so 18 times x is 18x plus 18, and 20 times x is 20x minus 20 equals to 25. And now I have to combine like terms. So 18x plus 20 x will give me 38x. And I have to combine the two constant here, 18 and 20, I get minus 20, I get negative 2 equals to 25. And I now add 2 to both sides. So 38x equals to 27, and I divide both sides by 38. So x is equals to 27 over 38. I don't think I can simplify this further, and that's the answer. We've come to the end of our video on solving multi-step equation. I hope you learned the basic rules about solving more complicated equations and be able to apply them when this question is a little bit different. So don't forget to click subscribe. See you next time.